Hey guys, welcome back to the Detour Live. I'm your host, Dan Jones, joined as always, four-time national road champ from Australia, Johnny Trevorrow. Now, first of all, apologies because we did promise we'd be live at the start and the finish of the criteriums in Adelaide, but
technical problems
and logistics, because you couldn't actually get to the riders.
No, it was strange because they started them like a kilometre away, rolled them into the criterium, and we couldn't get to them, and it was a bit of a cluster, as they say. So yeah,
and the audio would have been shocking. And as regular viewers know that we hold audio and quality at the highest level on this show, and we just won't sacrifice it.
You do, yes, you do, Dan, and it frustrates you when it's not there. Yeah,
that's right. Now we've got a lot to unpack on the show because we're going to cover the sort of last 3 days at the Santos Festival of Cycling. Before we want to talk about all that, I want to send a shout out to obviously Egan Bernal, who had a horrific crash in Colombia in the back of a bus, and I think originally they thought, he's going to be okay, but it's a lot more serious than what they thought.
Yes, so operated on overnight. He's got a broken femur, is one of them. We know. We're going to just look at Chris Froome to know how hard it is to come back from that. And he's got fractures in his spine, but that went quite well, evidently. But he's got some serious injuries. You don't like to say it, but you can't see him coming back from that this season. You just can't see it. So,
well, did you see the video that Ineos posted? They had a near miss with a car out on training in Colombia as well.
I know, that's just a few days earlier. Yeah. A group of them. So, but this one, he ran into the back of the bus. So he was on the time trial bike, evidently. So, it might have been the case of the old head down and bum up. But I don't know for sure what happened. There was some investigation into it. But it's just a terrible, terrible accident. But I'll tell you what, it makes a very, very, it throws a lot of changes for Ineos. I think that Carapaz will probably now ride the tour where he was riding the Giro. So,
Well, if you're going to have a chat to Richie Port, find out what his role at the Giro, why not give him a crack?
Yeah, well, I was talking to him briefly at the start today, so I didn't get to ask him that, but it's a good question. I'll talk to ask him tomorrow.
All right, well, we're going to kick things off. Obviously, it was the opening stage of the elite men's race. It's going to be 3 days, and it was a great win by James Will and Iffy. We've got some vision, thanks to Santos Festival of Cycling, from the final and his post-race interview with our very own Scott McGrory.
Luke Durbridge across to the big breakaway. He's made all the right moves, gone with the strongest, tracked them throughout the stage. When he got the opportunity, he took it, he went away. Great tactical move with the strength to back it up.
And he is driving it all the way to the finish line. He's looking for maximum time gains. But it is time to celebrate. James the Wonder Whelan wins in Lobethal. What a victory.
Yeah, it hasn't quite sunk in yet.
It doesn't appear to have.
No, maybe when I'm on the podium it'll make sense, but yeah, far out. What a race. I had the intention to try and do that, and when you can actually pull it off, it's a pretty special feeling. Yeah.
Considering the tough year you had last year coming back out of the World Tour after injuries, what does it mean for you, a ride like this?
Oh, it's pretty difficult to describe, to be honest. I was like tearing up that last K. Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah.
Great for the team as well.
Yeah, it's unreal. I mean, Bridgelane's been racing in Australia for so long, and ACJ deserves a win like this. We had a lot of silvers in Nationals last week, so we got ourselves on top of the podium, which is where we belong. Yeah.
So that's day one out of the way, and what a massive lead you have now in the overall standing. So I guess it's to look to take it all the way through.
Yeah, I guess it's damage control now and hold the wheel in Wollonga. But who knows? It could change, and we'll just take it each day by day. It'll be a pretty messy race tomorrow too, pretty punchy circuit.
Yeah, there was Scotty McGrory with James Willen at the finish there. Now, if you were out on the course, and I believe you got some breaking news too regarding...
Yes, well, I'm back at the Hilton now, up in my room. I can't go down and do it in the foyer where the atmosphere is because people keep lining beers up. And you know me, I've got work to do. So
strict. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, look, the breaking news is that Whelan has been docked a minute. So
wow.
Yeah, so that makes this bike race now, it's wide open. He's only got a lead of 27 seconds, not a minute 27. So evidently he missed the start. I hear it was mechanical. Now he's a long way back, so he wasn't at the start. So his team car paced him back to the race. Now, normally, if you miss the start with a mechanical, they would just radio ahead when the control section would just last longer till you got back. That's not normal. Now, I don't know. Normally, Stewie would be hanging out the roof and do that, but Stewie's not there. He's home with stuck in isolation because his daughter had COVID. So he's sort of remotely doing a lot of his work. But so I don't know the reason for but I said the reason was because he took so long. They paced him for so long to get him back into the race.
When you say so long, how many Ks are you talking about?
Oh, look, to me, listening on the team radio, on the car radio, it seemed like it must have been 10 or 15K after the actual start. It was a fair way. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But don't let that get in the way of a good story. But yeah, so anyway, look, I feel for him because, look, it was a sensational ride. He's got fantastic form. His ride last week in the Nationals was a ripper. It looked like he was just taking it out for a while there until Plappy come up with the monster ride and only caught him right near the top of the last hill. So a very, very good ride from Whelan there, and he's continued on. It's still going to be hard to beat because 27 seconds, that's to his teammate, who Matt Dynam, who won the sprint in for second, and 30 seconds back to a whole stack of them. So Durbo at 32 seconds, Luke Plapp and Chris Harper, two of the World Tour pros, at 33 seconds. Durbo was a bit frustrated. He knew that they had to close that gap down or the tour was over. And he was trying to convince everyone, especially Plappy and Chris Harper. But Plappy had done a big ride to get there on his own. He bridged the gap, a minute and a half on his own to get into that break. So he might have just been, spent a few too many bickies in the end, they did work on the last lap and reduced it by about 30 seconds, that gap. But it was too late. So I know that I was talking to Durbo straight at the start. He was spitting chips, as they say. But he's looking very good, though, looking very strong.
One thing I don't like, I've got to be honest, is the kit, James Wheeler's kit, because the clear mark on the shoulder looks like he's had a crash. Like when I saw the vision initially, I was like, oh, he must have binned it, but it's just the design. So that's just my 2 cents. Leave your comments below if you.
I think some of that was just perspiration marks as well, mate. I'm not. Look, Bridge Lane have been around for a long time in lots of different names. Andrew Christie joins the team, do a fantastic job. They're one of the stalwarts that he's been. So many of our top pros have come through that system. So I'm not going to knocking them, but I'm not a big fan of that kit either.
It's just that little bit there. I like the rest of the kit, just like the rib sort of look there. It gives the appearance. Maybe that's a tactic. Maybe when they see Rise, they go,
Scott, you talking about it?
Actually, it's worked. Take it all back. Well done. Great marketing. Now, we obviously had on the last show Ruby Roseman Gannon on the eve of the final stage, and I was very disappointed that you were quite negative about her chances when she was confident.
Negative.
The fact that she's come back and had the monkey on the back and managed to ride through it and win the final stage. Here's the highlights of the last bit of the third stage and her interview post-race.
Manly on the front, Baker in second position. The blue jersey, Ruby Roseman Gannon, with the national champion Frayne breathing down her neck. Patience is a virtue. Who breaks first?
And looking over the shoulder, because here they come, right side, the lead out. It's an individual rider.
It's Mullins. Mullins is trying to come around the outside for rock salt Liv Schramm. She's hitting the wind though, and she starts to go backwards. Baker opens up in blue. It's Ruby Roseman Gannon consolidating the win and taking the stage victory. Second, first, overall success.
Ruby, stage win, overall win. Robbie McEwen said it. You had your cake and you got to eat it too.
Yeah, I think after the last 2 seconds, I was pretty hungry. And my team every day, and especially today, have been riding so well for me. there's a lot of pressure when you've got such a high caliber of riders riding for you. So I really felt the pressure today. I was really nervous, but I'm so glad I could finish it off. It's a dream.
I could tell before the start that you were confident because your form has been good, but the nerves were certainly there. And the pressure of riding for a big team like this in the World Tour, coming here with everybody looking at you, but you did it. So how good is that? What's the feeling like now?
Oh, it's absolute relief. It's joy and relief. I think I don't even know how to say, but basically everyone in my team is so good and I feel like I should be riding for them, not them riding for me, and every day they're just smashing themselves for me. So it's, it means so much, to actually finish it off for them. I'm really, really happy that I could do that.
And they're all listening in here as well, and big grins on their faces. Amanda Spratt, I know you did a lot of work towards the end there. Not the normal start to a season for you, because we know you're normally here winning this thing. What's it been like to ride for a rider like Ruby?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I said the other day I've been watching Ruby for a few years and she's such a huge talent. But, I mean, kudos to the whole team here. I think it's our first time riding together as a unit and I'm so pleased and we pulled it off. So great teamwork throughout the whole 3 days.
It's certainly enjoying all the smiles. Ruby, you've got to get down to the presentation. Well done. Fantastic ride.
Thank you so much.
Great job there, obviously, by Ruby. And I think Scotty's doing a great job with the post-race interviews as well. He's got a good flow going, and they're obviously stoked with the win, Iffy.
Yes. We took, or Jerry Ryan took the girls out for dinner last night to celebrate the weekend, just for Jerry and Val to catch up with them. There's some new girls in there. And it was a great night. And Ruby did remind me of the podcast and what I'd said. So
fair enough.
She didn't actually put the finger up. Metaphorically, she did, yes.
Yeah. Fantastic result. Fantastic result.
And I tell you, it was a really good ride, both in that tour by the young Amber Pate, who was just a stagiaire, like a rider they got in at the last minute. She's not actually part of the team, but gee, she was impressive. She's only been riding 2 years, come from triathlon, but she rides the bike like someone who's very experienced. Evidently, she was a motocrosser. Did a lot of motocross riding in her younger days, and you could tell.
Well, Simon Gerrans.
Yes. And so, but you can just tell the way she handles herself through the bud. But she was great. She was leading them out, chasing Grace Brown down the other day on stage 2, and then led out the sprint, and then led them out in the criterium last night. So fantastic.
All right, we're going to have a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a look at the highlights of the men's and women's criteriums.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Life is like a two-way street. It's about consideration and mutual respect. Roads are much the same. However you get around, walk, ride or drive, if we share our roads, we can all be safer. The Amy Gillett Foundation is Australia's peak cycling safety charity. Our mission is for safe cycling in Australia. Our vision is for 0 cyclist deaths. Over the last year, we've seen an enormous increase in people taking up cycling, whether it be for recreation, with the family, commuting, or even to start your own cycling career. We need to do more to make it safer for every cyclist. 20 cyclists every day are hospitalised, and 1 cyclist is killed every 10 days on Australian roads. So, the next time you jump on your bike or hop in your car, remember to practice the 4 C's. Be courteous, calm, considerate and conscientious. Every cyclist death is preventable, and we all deserve to get home safely. Please donate to help the Amy Gillett Foundation make the roads safer for you and for me.
Great work again, Bike Exchange and the Amy Gillett Foundation. We really appreciate the support because we wouldn't be able to do the detour without you guys. Now, if you obviously at the criteriums yesterday, we've got the highlights of the women's criterium to kick things off, and then we'll have a chat and give your insights.
Trek Night Riders Criterium highlights. Let's take a look at them as they made their way around Victoria Square. At the front with the gold shoes, that was Emily Watts. It was a tough night for Emily Watts eventually. I'm sure we'll get a chance to take a look at it.
It was a tough night, and even though the sun was shining and the temperature was high, it is nighttime racing with the Trek Night Criterium. And the women got away very quickly. Lots of action animations. We did, unfortunately, see a crash in the first lap.
Yep, very early crash, a touch of wheels, and then just into the barriers and took out a number of riders. But fortunately, everybody able to get back up and continue. Just a quick assessment of the damage and assessing any possible head knocks. A really quick assessment. It's not the 15-minute HIA like in football, but they do assess the riders. The race always moved on, and the attacks were coming thick and fast. Carly Taylor was off the front as well. But always in attendance, Bike Exchange Jayco shutting things down, making sure nothing got away from them.
There was one dangerous move at the midway point in the race. This is one of the intermediate sprints that was won by Loretta Hansen. At one point, though, we saw Peter Mullins going off the front. Ruby Roseman Gannon was there. Georgia Howell. That was the one move that looked threatening. But everybody saw it as threatening, so the peloton chased it down in a real hurry. Tilly Field was aggressive too. This is another one of the crashes that we saw throughout the race.
Yeah, that was in turn one, about halfway through the race. A number of riders affected. So there were a bunch of riders taken out by that crash. They would get their free lap out, rejoin the race, so everybody was okay, just bumped and bruised. There they are as they reform to rejoin the race. And then it was the next intermediate sprint.
And the 17-year-old birthday girl from yesterday, Belinda Bailey, taking the points. That was Emily Watts. I didn't want to watch it again, but I hope she's okay.
Yeah, a really heavy fall by Emily Watts, quickly assessed and tough as nails. She got back on and continued the race, but she wouldn't factor in the rest of the race. Obviously a bit shaken up by that crash. When it came down to the sprint, well, Bike Exchange Jayco, they went into top gear and fully organised. Alexandra Manley took over the work from Amanda Spratt and also from Amber Pate. She swung into the final straight with Ruby Roseman Gannon in her wheel. The Australian Criterium champion, who's already won this week, she was leading out Georgia Baker. She had been the domestique, providing the red carpet ride to Ruby. Now it was switched the other way round, and Georgia Baker off the track onto the crit circuit, arms in the air. She'd got the victory for Bike Exchange Jayco. Josie Talbot in second, Maeve Clough in third, and Ruby Roseman Gannon fourth place across the line.
Great win there by Georgia Baker, as Robin McEwen said. And, geez, a lot of crashes in the criterium, Iffy.
Big field, too. There's 100 riders in there, so it's a big criterium field. Yeah, look, all a rush of blood, nothing serious, no one badly hurt. So, yeah, that's bikes, as they say.
Scooter was saying that there was a bit of a drop-off with the crowd, but it looked like there was plenty of people out there on the circuit.
There was a fantastic crowd. Last night was, well, as big a crowd as they get at any tour down under. So it was brilliant. Not quite so many going out onto the road stage, but still plenty of people. Still people riding bikes everywhere. But it's not quite a tour down under. But hey, it's bike racing, and we'd be rapt to have some of these crowds back home, Victoria.
Oh, yeah. A couple of live comments. BJW71, evening, gents. And Jason Cruz, live from the Maldives. He says, good afternoon. Hoping for a Richie stage win as a thank you for the Tour de France. Now, obviously, Wollonga Hill, he's announced it's going to be the last time he's going to go up it. They'll have to have something planned as a bit of a send-off for Richie, you'd think.
You would think so. You would think so. He's going to be hard to beat. But I thought that Plappy would be the one, because they're riding together in an Australian team, and they're riding together at Ineos, of course. But the 30 seconds. It'll be interesting to see what happens now that minute penalty. This bike race is now wide open again. Without that, Bridge Lane is a very strong team, and I don't think anyone would have been able to bring James Whelan back. But hey, we've got a bike race. It's going to be a ripper. Good stage too. Good stage tomorrow. Tomorrow starts at Mount Lofty. Beautiful little spot at the top of the Adelaide Hills, and finishes in Woodside. So
I think I've got it. Stage 2 video here. I've got the actual. There you go. It's the breakdown. So people, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the actual circuit, but might as well just repeat what you just said, John.
Yeah, so it does a big loop. So it goes down from the start after the descend from Mount Lofty, then it goes down through Harndorf into Chunga, and then back into, and then does 4 loops of the finishing circuit at Woodside. So great for the spectators to be able to watch them come by. And for those who are watching YouTube, yes, it's all there in front of you right now. And those listening, just nothing.
All right. The thing that stands out whenever I hear the word Harndorf is how good are the bakeries around Adelaide. I mean, back in the day, we used to do the Whitey pie competition, and there just wasn't a bad pie in Adelaide.
Well, the bakeries in Harndorf are pretty good, but the Loberthal bakery is amazing. That was today. And pies were handed out to Whitey in the car. So Whitey and Jerry had the pies, and I had to have a taste test, so I had to have one as well. Very, very good. I'm a bit of a pie connoisseur, and that's good as you get. Good as you get.
All right. Well, we've got the highlights from last night's men's criterium.
Let's take a look at the highlights from what was a super fast Trek Night Riders criterium around Victoria Square. Not surprisingly, right from the gun, it was on.
It was a fast, aggressive race, and it had just a little bit of everything. Unfortunately, it had a little bit too much of crashes. It doesn't matter how many there are always too many. But off the start line, focus on Richie Port, because of everything he's done here in South Australia over his career. And as he says, retiring this year, this will be the last one. So make sure you get out and give him a shout. But now it's criterium time, and it was down to the sprinters to try and keep everything under control with their teams, because the breakaway attempts were coming thick and fast.
Stephen Robb was one of the earlier ones to go, the big figure from Cycle House Racing, and they were aggressive early, but then there were lots of falls.
One of the big crashes into turn 1, the sharpest turn on the circuit, missing the apex, sliding away, taking a bunch of riders down as well. A few turned in there for a cheeky, I'll get a lap out as well. Luckily for them, were able to continue the race. What also continued were the constant attacks. Mackenzie Edwardson was one of those, riding aggressively.
Non-stop attacking. Dylan George was very good. I'm looking forward to seeing him over the next few days of racing, the Santos Festival of Cycling. He's part of Team Garmin Australia, and what an opportunity for him to race alongside Richie Port in his final and Luke Platt, the emerging star.
Dream come true for some of these young riders, and the NRS teams getting an opportunity to race here at the Santos Festival of Cycling. They are relishing it, and they're using every opportunity they get to go on the attack, make a name for themselves, try and make the race hard. And it was one of the young riders from Oliver's Real Food Racing, got a good gap, but behind him Luke Durbridge on the chase, and then further back on the left against the barriers. And eventually that road came to an end over the bars, and this caused an enormous pile-up that went all the way across the straight. And it was number 154, Liam Walsh, who was the man who went down first. Neutralised race.
And how relieved were we to see him get up?
Extremely relieved. It wasn't long, though. It was good to see the riders get back up very fast, and very fast was the start after the neutralised was cancelled.
Very fast was the key phrase for the rest of the race.
They just picked up where they left off. It was race on, and the attacks just continued to come. Dylan Sunderland, he was aggressive right throughout the race and tried yet another break along with Ben Hill. He loves a breakaway. He cannot hold himself back.
Neither of those guys will be holding themselves back over the next 3 stages. Coming to the intermediate sprint, it was Hill getting the better of Dylan Sunderland, and it was JP Vandermeer in 3rd position as they were getting towards the business end of the race. And the bell sounded, and it was on Inform Team X-Mate.
Battle of the lead-out trains, but at the end it was Brenton Jones for Inform Team X-Mate with his teammate Blake Quick in the wheel. Then it was Cam Scott and Plowright. Scott stepped out early, but biggest step was Blake Quick. Quick by name, quick by nature 4 wins out of 5 this season, and what a way to start here at the Santos Festival of Cycling.
Blake Quick does it again, carries over some amazing form over the last couple of weeks.
So a couple of wins in the Bay Crits, the Lexa Blackburn Bay Crits. I'll just get that. It was very, very good there. And that's where we first started to just see how classy he is. But, gee, what a ride from Brenton Jones. I did get a text from Mum Karen straight after the finish.
Yeah.
Tell Jerry he needs a lead-out man like Brenton. So he would be good too. He's a very good bike rider, a very smart bike rider. And set that up for Blake Quick.
Yep. Well, as we said, we've definitely got a bike race now with that minute penalty iffy. So who's your predictions for winner of stage 2?
Well, the actually winner of the stage, that would be an interesting one. It's got it's a bit lumpy at the end. I think it'll be a breakaway. Interesting one. I might go with someone like Jensen Plowright. He could get up the road. But for the overall, it's going to be fun and games. I think Whelan can win it because he's climbing so well. I'd have to drop him up Wollonga. I think this race will probably be won on Wollonga Hill. Anything can happen. It was very windy. It was hot, like 34, 35 degrees, but a real strong wind popped up today, which made for super aggressive racing. So if that wind hits tomorrow with all the directions they're going, they'll be in the gutter type racing. So we could be in for a great day. They're only short stages, but gee, action-packed.
Short stages and short podcasts. That's what I like. Keep it short. This could be a record iffy. Tell the boys to line up a jar. You're just about done. Anything you want to add before we wrap things up?
Cooper's beer on tap. Very good. Very good.
Okay. Fantastic insights, mate. Well, when are we going to be back again? Tomorrow night or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Tomorrow night.
6:30. And apologies, we did say that we would have Scott McGrory on live, but then when I asked you, we didn't get a response from him. He's out and about. We gave him standard 10 minutes notice.
It's working. Yeah, and Stewie, we gave Stewie 5 minutes notice. He didn't come on either.
We'll give him a day's notice. We'll line him up for tomorrow night.
Yeah, sounds good. Now we've got Caleb Ewan on Sunday night.
Yes.
So, well, he said he'd do the weekend. I've asked him for Sunday night, which would be about. He'll be in Dubai, so
it'll be fantastic.
Midday for him. So I don't think he's answered that yet, but I'm looking forward to speaking to the Pocket Rocket because he is a superstar.
All right. Well, stay tuned. There's going to be plenty more detail to come. And look forward to a fantastic stage 2 at the Santos Festival of Cycling. Thanks again for your support, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Cheers.
This is the winning